All right, Joe, we're still here. We're still talking about golf. Apparently, there are people listening
Got
to the
it.
show as I found out. So it's good to see you.
Great to see you too, buddy. We made it to Memorial. We're through kind of a little bit of a lull. We got Memorial on deck, right into U.S. Open. Can't freaking wait, man. It's a
This
great couple
is
weeks in golf.
we've spent, I don't know, 9 episodes shitting on the PGA and the signature event model. So it's going to be kind of awkward to come back and it's just like apologizing to somebody like, I'm so sorry. This is what it's about. These are the signature events that, like, when you say we're
This
going to
is
have
when it
signature,
works.
this is a real one. And so,
This
like,
is
we're
when it
not saying
works.
get rid of it. Yeah, we're not, like, I'm not saying get rid of them. I'm saying be judicious. Like, this is Jack's place. I'm not going to lie. I could do without the upside down Jack hat, though. Not sure how you feel about that. It's kind of dumb.
The whole upside down trend
I
I'm
don't
down
get it.
with. The Jack. And guess who bought the Jack hat? I actually saw this on X, the Everything app. Everything happens on X this morning. Our buddy Dan Rappaport, of course, is the one that's rocking the upside down Jack hat. And I'm just like, of course he would buy that. Like that.
Say mean things because someday we'll be lucky to have him on the show or something. And I like to friend up fellow medians. This fucking guy, though, like, I just,
Hey, listen, Barstool.
I can't.
He's a former Barstool guy. Barstool has torched him more than anyone, and he still goes on their programming. So we'll
Yeah,
still take
except we don't
Dan.
have, yeah, you're welcome on the show anytime. You can even cry on this show. But we don't quite have the following. We don't have the following that they have.
Not
Going back to
yet, not yet, not yet.
I like your attitude. So going back to the signature point, I just think this is a great way to frame it that I think we didn't do, not that we didn't do a good job of. It's just been really difficult to explain what a tournament makes you feel like, especially if you're not like a golf sicko. Like if you told me every tournament was a signature, I'd be like, cool, or not. I'm going to watch anyway. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
But for regular people and for guys like you and I, we have fun getting to gamble and do pools and stuff. And so if our friends are not into the tournament, it's hard for you and I to have as much fun out of it as we want. So I really just want people to have a good time and want to watch the tournament. You can't stick a label and make it be like, this is a big tournament because we put the signature label on it. Big tournaments are big tournaments because they're just big tournaments. And people, like, you can sense the energy. You can sense the Memorial, Jack's place. He's taking questions about the past and the future. I loved his answer to this one guy yesterday. Said, what do you think about the tournament being played at whatever course in 2045? And he goes, I hope you guys have a good time. Because obviously he's not planning on being there. When you have, this reminds me of Tiger when he was still, not tipping cars over, doing the Genesis. The players showed up for him because it was Tiger's tournament, Tiger's course. He was the big dog. And Jack, as much as he's old, he's still so relevant because he's so involved in the game. These guys show up. And you can tell that they want to play. And this is like Arnold. And Arnold's tournament obviously is still a big deal. But when Arnie was around, guys wanted to be the last one to shake his hand at the end of the 18 on Sunday. And it mattered. And it made it energizing and fun for the fan just because of that. This is the same thing here. If you don't have a backstory, then the course is the story or a rivalry is a story. And when you have Rory and Scottie dueling, Scottie playing second all day long, all season long for the most part, not winning, and then for 3 or 4 consecutive tournaments, one of them's not here and the other one's here, and you've got random guys like Two Gloves Rye winning, and you've got Wyndham, and even just this week, which was a different thing. We'll talk about Russell Henley. It
Your
just
guy.
makes it really hard. My guy, finally, and I cashed in on him, thank God. But it just makes it really hard because sometimes the PGA sets us up and it's like they get in their own way
Yeah.
again. Like they think they're bigger than they are and they say it's a signature event, you care. We don't give a shit. Give me a course that I feel something for. Give me a story I feel something for. Give me a rivalry I can chase. That's the deal.
Yeah.
And this has all.
And Memorial's got it all, right? I
All
mean,
of
it's
them.
one of the most storied non-majors on the tour schedule. Goes back to 1976. It plays tough. It plays like a major. I've heard it dubbed Augusta North, right? And there is a lot of similarities between Jack's place in Augusta, right? So we'll get into that when we're talking our
Muirfield
bets.
is
But
absolutely on my bucket list, by the way. That is a
oh,
course that I want to play so freaking bad.
and I want to have a milkshake with you, buddy. Maybe we'll make it a boozy milkshake. But that's the content that I like coming out of Memorial, right? Not the upside down jack hats, but like those milkshakes that everyone's consuming on the practice days. They look unbelievable. Not as good as the
Yeah.
course though. But yeah, to your point,
$5
like
for a milkshake. It better be a pretty fucking good milkshake. For my
chocolate
Pulp
shake,
Fiction folks.
chocolate shake, wiener circle style.
Love it.
But like to your point, like this is what the signature events are supposed to look like. You get the best guys. We get our big four that we have been talking about all year since this show started, right? You get Scottie, you get Rory, you get Fitz, and you get Cam. You get them on a proper course that's got pressure, that's leading up into the third major of the year, and it's like, hey, who's going to be the big dog that's going into Shinnecock as the cock of the walk, right? Like who's going to be the top guy? And like this is absolutely a measuring stick week, and I love that where it falls within the calendar. I think that's part of why you get the players that you get here, but it's also just with the history. It's the fact that you get the reps needed in order to then go compete in a major the next week. Like it's got all of it, and I frankly can't wait. Right? I absolutely love the field. I love the course. This is not, to me, one of those tournaments that you just tune into on Sunday. You should be consuming this all 4 days. It's that good. It's that good.
Yeah, and kind of funny. We've talked about this a handful of the last courses where whether it proved out or not is a different story. But where the driver off the tee was sort of secondary, it's either a putting contest or it's an approach shots. And of course, this is again approach is king here. Driving accuracy is a real stat at this place. Like this is not screwing around. And I want to give a shout out to our friends locally here at Fried Egg, who you can go on friedegg.com right now and check out their course breakdown. They have a drone video that hovers so close that you can see the grain on the bent grass on the greens. They literally do a flyover where you can see where the greens turn gray like ice, and that's the downslope of where the putts are going to roll off the side of the green. You have a tiny, firm, fast greens, which is your point before about Augusta. This has an Augusta feel, except the rough is freaking brutal. And that's where I think Augusta you can get away with shit. Here, you're driving long, and it's got to be straight, or you're in trouble. And then you can't.
I would say the fairways are a little wider, right? So like that's a typical Jack Nicklaus design, right? Where it's definitely much more about the approach shot, and he wants to make the players think, and how aggressive are they going to be. But to your point, if you go into the rough here, I mean, it's like 4-inch Kentucky bluegrass, rye, fescue, very thick. Pretty much impossible to hold the green if you're coming out from the rough, right? So what you're gonna, I think what our card is gonna center around, which it usually does, right, is yes, we want to look at driving accuracy, but it's gonna be shots gained approach and who's great around the green scrambling, because there is going to be a lot of you're going to have to get up and down from a tight lie because you weren't able to hold the green, or you weren't able to get to the green from wherever you were positioned from either the fairway or from the rough. So that's going to be the focus here, right? Is who's really dialed in from an approach standpoint, and if you get out of position, who can scramble to get back into position, and par holes from positions that they, normally players that aren't scrambling well are going to bogey.
I'm going to flip this on you. I agree with you. And this is a subtle difference because we're talking about splitting hairs. This is talking about the guys who are going to win. So to play well, make the cut, be top 30, 40, yes, all that is true. And of course, you can't.
You do have to give us a make the cut bet. Remember,
you know that.
You got to bring that back.
I'm going to give you a miss. I'm going to give you a miss the cut bet.
Okay.
So,
as long as the odds are good, I don't care what it is.
Well, they're going to be good. I actually, here's my disagreement. I think what I'm going to look for, and this is this is nuanced. Shots gained off the tee to me is going to be who wins this tournament because of three things. One, I do think that, and Jack, I mean, this is why Jack's courses look this way. It's trickery. It's fuckery is what it is really. You've got wider fairways compared to what they're used to. So in the mindset of the player, they can go after it. And you've already heard the players, like even on courses that are more narrow, be like, oh, I'm just going to drop it down and see what happens. If you go wide left, you are in rough that you are not on the green in a birdie. You're not scoring. You're just hanging on. So to me, the handful of players who are piping it straight and have the distance to be able to have short-ish approach shots,
For sure.
they will be the scorers. The guys who have to lay up are going to have the same disadvantage. They'll make birdies more than the guys who don't hit the fairway, but they will not have any shots at eagle. They will not be, their birdies will not be inside of 10 feet. They're going to have long approaches, which this course, penalizes with the green. So to me, if you want to pick the winner, I want to find somebody who's going to be hitting it long and straight. And maybe that's not even their usual, right? Like I'm not looking at who's the best driver for this. I'm telling you whoever plays the best. This is during the postmortem, we'll know. Whoever wins, I believe will end up having the best SGA off the tee. And I believe that their greens and regulation will be ultimately what wins this. Greens and reg at this tournament and this course are hovering around 59%. Huge. Tour average is 68%. So if you're sitting here hitting bombs and you can have 160, 170, 150 in, even if it's not tight, you're not scrambling, you're not making mistakes, you get more shots at scoring. Everyone else doesn't. So like while it does matter approach and all the things, I think that big drivers who have to pull out the mini driver or pull out a hybrid, whatever they're playing, who have to give up or cede 30 to 40 yards to guys who are piping it, are probably from onset are going to be in trouble. That's just, and it's like I said, nuance. It's not that different from what you're saying. It's just the inverse. But I think that I'm not telling you go find the guy who drives it the best. I'm telling you whoever wins will have driven it the best. It's kind of cheating,
right? It's the Bombers, right? Because the design is it's more forgiving fairways. It's a little bit wider, so players are going to be reaching for their drivers, even though you've got that penalty with the rough, just because the fairways are a little bit more forgiving. But to your point, the closer you are, the better it is, right? Because the trade-off on the more forgiving fairways and being able to pull driver is you're going to have these difficult greenside complexes, right? That's going to put an emphasis on strong approach play. It's obviously easier to hit the green when you're closer and you're in the fairway, right? I don't know. It's just it's a proper test, right? I mean, there are not that dissimilar from a lot of the stats that we always look at, but I think to your point, further emphasis on shot gain off the tee. But again, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Make sure it's not just shots gained off the tee. You're looking at driving accuracy as well. And then I'm always going to focus in on who are the guys that are playing really well from an approach standpoint.
I like it. I think there's a couple of sort of plays here, I guess, to pick. We don't normally jump right into picking the card, but I'm going to do it because I know it's chalk and it's simple, but I actually really believe that we're going to see the back half of this year of majors, meaning U.S., potentially the British. Scottie Scheffler's going to thunder back. I think he's ready to go now. I think he looked pleasantly frustrated, if that makes sense, in his last tournament. He's a two-time defending champion, would become the first three-peat on any event since Stricker, who I believe did it with a 61 or 62 or 59 or whatever the hell it was.
Like 2011 or 7, right? Like
11.
It's been a long
2011.
time. Yep.
It's been a long time.
Yep.
This is where, every single thing that has happened this year in golf has had a storyline. Rory completes the slam. Spieth won't, but can he? We're waiting for this one. We're waiting, whatever. Everything's had its own storyline. Scottie loves storylines. Scottie's the storyline. I think he becomes the first three-peat winner. And you start talking about Tiger shit, and we start going back into like this, Scottie's the man state. And I think it sets him up for the back half of the year being a major contender. I just think he's ready to win it. I think he's the kind of guy we just described who you look back on and you don't, he's obviously a great off the tee, but you don't think of him as like, when I think of bombers and guys who I'm like, oh, the driver, I don't necessarily think of him, even though we probably should. I think he's the guy you look back and you're like, really solid on approaches, really good out of scrambling, really clean off the deck. Like, I don't know. he clearly isn't going to be outside of the top 5 because that hasn't happened in like 10 events. So guys around the Cup, he's won it twice. Jack's watching. He's ready to go. He looked, like I said, last tournament, he looked like he was like having fun. Like he was struggling, couldn't make a couple of putts, but he was like laughing about it and was like, okay, I'm about fucking done playing here.
Yeah, I think you're dead on. I mean, it's I do think it's Scottie's tournament
to horrible value.
Lose. Horrible value. This is what we talked about though, right? Like in what I did at the PGA last year with him when I was really confident in him. I mean, I would hold out for a better number in the live market, right? Just, he has had some Thursday struggles, albeit a lot less the last couple of tournaments, but maybe you get lucky and he has a slower start on Thursday and he goes from 3-1 to 5 or 6-1. That's when I would hammer it. I'm going to more focus on, is there a live bet opportunity with Scottie at some point after Thursday or mid-round Thursday? And then I think this is definitely a winner without Scottie market kind of week, right? Which all the books offer that you can look at and still have some longer shot guys that you feel good about, but without the stress of, well, shit, if this is just a Scottie week, then, everyone's dead and he's going to be going into Sunday up 4 and you've got a ticket that doesn't matter. At least with that winner without market, you've always got a chance.
Before we do the card, Joe, can we take a step back and talk about this odds and stuff? I sent you a random rambling text, which about prediction market, about my betting strategy and the degenerate irrationality. We'll use this also, by the way, to recap last week because frankly, I just don't think there's much to talk about. Like the tournament was fine, and I enjoyed the end of it, and I ended up putting money.
Colonial's great. Colonial's great.
Yeah.
Great.
We had a lot of fun watching it, and it was enjoyable. There wasn't a ton of things to talk about. Everyone was kind of stacked at the top, and then they didn't have it, and then Henley kind of came to form. It was a weak field, and you got Eric, what's his name? I'm blanking on Eric Cole. So Cole. So I promise this is merging two things at once. So we're going to talk about betting numbers, and to your point about picking Scottie during the tournament and not before the tournament. But I'm going to use this Russell Henley as an example. We talked about on the show last week how, I've been riding Russell Henley for however long. Dude continues to disappoint me, pisses me off. I'm not betting on him. I gave you guys picks, but I placed no bets. I ended up placing no bets on the tournament. I watched Henley. I watched him come in on Sunday, piss it away. Well, actually start off really strong, then piss it away, then comes back roaring, 4 birdies in a row. And I was like, I'm watching Davis just like Eric just literally, he's limping in. And I looked at the market.
Well, Eric Cole, he's a 37. He's never won on tour, right? That was to be expected. So I like the value that you got there because there wasn't a proven closer that you were afraid was going to come and really clamp the tournament down. It just never came.
Until he kicks the ball left off the tee, and I'm like basically counting my money, and then the ball shits out right on the fairway. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Yeah. So he actually made it interesting. But the point here is this, and I think it's an important one. If you're gambling value pick FanDuel style, and the point of Scottie Scheffler is he's whatever plus 300 or whatever he is right now, it's not a good bet. The smart bet on him is to just let he's not, it's other than coming out to a 6-stroke lead, there's really no way for his odds to get worse for you, from a betting perspective. So you might as well let him play Thursday. I would even let him play Friday unless he plays himself in or out of it. Wait till it's like a 50-50 shot between whoever is the leader, or maybe he's got a 35-40% chance of winning as opposed to, 60 or whatever the fuck the numbers represent here. Then make your bet. And I say that because even if his odds are not what you would call favorable, as far as the, good value, when I look at Henley, his odds were basically a slam dunk. It was I was honestly more of a chance for me to lose money. It was better than 50-50. I think it was 58 or whatever it was % chance that he's going to win in the playoff against Cole. And I looked at that and I thought, but he's going to win. And obviously there was the weird scare, the ball comes out in the fairway, and for a minute I looked like an idiot. But what ended up happening is he ended up making a birdie from 4 feet away, and it's exactly what I thought was going to happen. And to me, the odds, it didn't matter what percentage.
So
I wanted $500. I didn't even look at it. I just said $500.
So you didn't place it until the playoff.
I didn't place it
Is that
until
right?
he took the tee on the playoff. On
That's awesome.
replaying 18,
I didn't
I was
realize
like,
that.
click.
Wow.
I held the bet for 7 minutes, literally. I held the bet for 7 minutes. But my point here is, sometimes when you get into this mentality of like placing a lot of bets and you're sprinkling across the tournament, you forget that there are certain things that are just very likely to happen. And obviously, if you have a conviction that it's not going to happen, or you think you got intel or whatever, whatever, I would look at, if you think Scottie's the winner, and it's like you don't like odds, I guess you look for who you think is your top 10, your top 5, like all the things we always do, set the card. But if you're like me right now, who firmly believes Scottie Cameron, that's the putter guy, Scottie Scheffler is going to win this, I'm not going to put the bet in now because he's plus 300 because I don't necessarily like the value. I'm just not going to put the bet in because there's no point. Why would I put money in right now when it could potentially be better later? I believe he's going to win. So unless after Thursday or Friday, it like suddenly looks like he is just completely not the guy I thought he was going to be, I'm going to bet
Scottie
on him regardless.
What is he on the predictions market? Like, how does it differ from what we're seeing on?
I don't have it in front of me right now. I want to say I looked at it last night. He was like an 18% chance to win.
Got it. Okay.
Something like that. I could be wrong, but it was something of that. So like my point in this is,
at that point you're buying contracts valued at 18 cents per contract. If he wins, you get $1 back. If he loses, you're paying 18 cents on each contract that you bought.
Yeah, which right now, honestly,
again,
I feel
that's
like it's
better.
really
that's
good.
better. That's what we talk about on, like, with Scottie. The prediction market always seems to be better than placing it on one of the standard sports books. Right. There's just more value there.
Like, truly, again, this number could be outdated, but if I were to go on tomorrow or Friday and he's like, in the top 10, it's probably closer to 40% chance or 35% chance that he's going to win, in which case the numbers got worse for me. All I'm saying is,
yeah.
No, I just my main point of this is, sometimes there are certain things that you want to make a handful of bets. My strategy always is like the one that I think is the surest bet, the one I'm kind of counting on hitting on, even if it's a small potatoes. I want to have a bet that's going to clear basically all my losses. That's my goal. The goal is like, can we leave here with like not losing money, which is probably a bad attitude. But I usually try to set up a handful of bets to kind of make it. Once where I get in trouble, but also this year where I have been very successful, is I look at bets where I just look at it and I go, as a golf person, as a quasi reader of people, as a person who's done all the research on this and seen it, I just feel really strongly about this. Like, if I could pick Scottie top 5 and get the same money, I probably would do that, because picking a winner is, obviously, even though it's a better chance he wins than others, it's still, a crapshoot. I just think we spend way too much time considering what the value is and the loss. Again, I'm speaking mostly to prediction market, because you either believe it's going to happen or not. I'm buying the right to collect $500 and I'm paying $140 for that right. That's how I look at it.
Makes complete sense. Yeah.
I don't look at it like this guy might win, this guy might win, that guy might win.
But your degenerate brain is like, I'm placing this because I'm now going to win that $500. Like, you don't even think about the downside.
Fuck no. No, and like, but I take it like a stock market. Like, I look at it like Salesforce, and I'm like, this is old, outdated. They're like 300, but like at one point they were at $162 or $167 a share, and in my head I was like, that is a $300 a share company, no fucking doubt about it. And other people are going, oh, I had him at 70. It's too rich now. It's like, if you believe, this is the same conversation people are having about SpaceX. If you believe it's a $9 trillion company, then $1.75 trillion IPO ain't shit. And if you believe it's not even a $1 trillion company, then 1.75 is two times more than it should be. One of us is going to be right. And I think the same way with picking these players, there's certain stuff that I look at. So let's move it to the card. When I look at certain things like Sepp Straka, to me, he's been hanging around, playing well. I think he makes the cut. You asked for make and miss the cut. I think he makes the cut. I think he's got too much game and he just doesn't collapse the way that, and collapse, I mean, not win tournaments. I mean, collapse, like, he's just always kind of safe. He's an approach guy at an approach course. The guy that has the odds that should be, potentially in the contention top 20, and you'll see a lot of that, I personally don't think he's going to make the cup. It's Chris Goddard. I don't think he's gonna make the cut. I
Really?
just have this feeling that he's like looked really good when he's on, and sometimes the camera goes off and he's hitting shots where I can tell he doesn't know what the hell just happened. I will be totally wrong here. We'll come back next week like we did last week, where we missed on a bunch of dudes like our guy Grazeman. But that is one
Grazerman
that I think can
is
miss.
he's on the ban list, by the way.
He's benched, bro.
He's on the complete banned list. Yeah, Goddard is kind of like I like that. I'm intrigued by that because he is definitely one of the favorites. I think he's like one of the 15 favorites, so I'm sure that there's going to be some favorable odds there. The one thing for your make the cut bet, unfortunately, because it is signature, it's only 72 guys, and I think the top, like if you're within 10 of the lead, you make the cut. So it's not. I think the odds for the make the cut, miss the cut are probably going to be pretty
tough.
shitty. But I like the selling on Goddard up this week. I want your opinion on a couple guys that I've circled.
Let's go.
All right. I like Hideki this week, man. He's just kind of like he's the guy that like you forget about, and then all of a sudden he has a week. Like he did it at obviously he did it when he won the Masters. He did it when he won at Riv a couple years ago, where all of a sudden like you're just like, oh wait, Hideki, like when he's on, is like a top 3 player in the world. And I don't know, the Memorial is a big enough tournament where it just seems like it could be one of those tournaments that he just flashes. He's been playing really well. He was close last week in Colonial. Like he's just, I don't know, he's been hanging around. And he's a guy that like obviously has won at Augusta. We made the comparison of
I was just going to say, what course did you say this reminds you of?
So, Hideki's a guy that I've circled. He's not a guy that I've played probably ever. I don't think I've ever played Hideki, but I like him on my card this week. And I think I'm going back to Justin Rose, dude. I know we've made fun of him. I don't think Justin I'm doing Rose it to win, but I think not to win, but like I think to be like top 10.
Top 20.
He's a guy 10. That top. I'm probably going to do top 10. Last time
he's played here is 20. He's got 40.
No, he played
plus.
Last year. He just didn't play well last year.
At here?
Oh yeah, but he didn't play well.
I got bad intel. Then. I thought he's got like one of the largest number of rounds on this course, 40-something rounds, competitive rounds on it. He's never like lit it up, but never been like awful.
Yeah, no, he hasn't, like, course history here isn't
Which
great.
I guess that kind of describes his career, doesn't it? Like,
yeah,
a couple times he wins a tournament.
It's just more of those things where, like, it's now been, 6-7 weeks with the new clubs. He was relevant at Aronimink. Obviously played really well at Augusta this year. If we're going to make the Augusta comparison, he's a guy that I like to be relevant this week, not necessarily to win. And like, I don't know, I just can't shake the Memorial has given us like some standard winners. Obviously, Scottie has won here twice in a row. Rahm had that run where he won a couple of years in a row. It's also given us some really random winners. Like, remember the year, I think it was like 2022, that Billy Horschel just went nuclear and ran away with it. It's like, I don't know, every once in a while you just get like and I'm not saying Justin Rose is random. I do think he would be random to win the Memorial this year, but like, I don't know, every once in a while, every like 3 to 4 years, it's just like you get a really weird guy winning. I know that there's been some guys that have like their one and only tournament win on the tour is at Muirfield, like William McGirt, if you remember that random guy, somehow won the Memorial. So I don't know. That's why I kind of like the Hideki, Justin, like someone that's got the game but isn't one of the first guys that's just gonna like flash and be like, oh yeah, like that guy was on my radar. The other guy I'm going back to, old reliable man, Adam Scott. I just can't quit the guy. I cannot quit him. I cannot quit him. And it would be, I just think it'd be fitting for a guy like Adam Scott or Justin Rose later on in their career, like getting a win at a place that, is a top 6 tournament every year. It'd be great for their resume. Everyone would be happy to see it. Great storylines, etc. So those are the three I'm looking at. I'll probably play around with win or without or top 5, top 10.
Ludwig,
But those are the guys
Ludwig
that I like.
Holborg.
Nah, I'm not touching Ludwig.
Is he
After last
benched?
week, dude, he's
Is he
benched.
benched?
Which means he's going to win this week. So for our
I was
listeners,
just gonna say, but hey,
I am officially not betting him. So bet him because this will be when he wins, 100%.
if you listened and learned anything, Joe, from this conversation that we've had, you would know that you don't have to bet on Ludwig to make money on Ludwig. You can bet nothing on him, wait until the final Sunday, and then short the fucking guy. Go on prediction markets and be like, do you think he's going to win? 100% no. I'm going to put $1 million on no because he's going to have a double bogey, bogey at the turn. I know it. Count on it.
Yep.
So you can still make money on him and then keep him in the rotation. Just
FYI
complete degenerates.
We got to start shorting him. Yeah, I completely agree. It's time to short the Ludwig stock. Ludwig.
I love your picks. I love your picks. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I actually, ironically enough, did the math on this. Since we were talking about next year doing like a live fantasy draft pool like the NFL style.
Yeah.
If you had picked Rose and Scott, and if we did a pool every week this week, if you'd have done that and just kept like odd winners, you would be in the top 5% of DraftKings pools. Just those two names. If you had them in your picks all season long, close to winning, not winning, close to winning, there is like 5 top 5s between them. There's like 7 top 10s. It's an incredible run.
They've been
so
around.
You picking those two is about as safe as it gets. I already told you, I really do think Scottie Scheffler has the chance to just win this and become, and again, it has nothing to do with this tournament. It's about the rest of the season for me. That's my only pick, and I'm trying to do the, reader of the bodies pick. The two things that I mentioned, of course, Sepp Straka, I think, is a lock for making the cut, which, as you pointed out, it's not really going to pay out much, but you asked for it, so I gave it to you. Got her up, not making it. The one that I think is the surest pick, and this depends on how ballsy you want to be. Xander Schauffele.
Always ballsy. Always.
Xander Schauffele, whether you want to put him as a winner, which I don't hate. He's probably my non-Scottie winner, is Xander Schauffele. Let me read this to you. 9 straight years teeing it up at this tournament. 5 top 10s in his last 9. Top 10 in the field, tee to green. Form, fit, course, name of the board. He literally strikes every single part you'd want to win. And then you throw in the whole, like, you and I talk about, like, cool names that come in waves here. Xander Schauffele, 1, 2 out of 3 here. It's perfect.
That would be a good one. That would be a good one. And I think it fits, like, you and I are both, like, suckers for storylines. Like,
it tends to play out that way. I don't think it's suckers.
Yeah,
I think it plays out that way.
Well, I like to envision what's the storyline going into Shinnecock next week, and it's either, hey, Scottie just first three-peat champion at Jack's Place. He's going to go complete the career Grand Slam, or it's, hey, let's not forget about Xander just won at Jack's Place. And by the way, he won 2 majors in 2024. We got to start talking about him going into.
And he's another guy who's been hovering in the top 10, top 20 all season long, and he is leading the field tee to green. So this is our guy. So my non-Scottie pick, Xander Schauffele. In general, I feel like this is going to be a tournament that is going to be an absolute blast to watch. I'm excited for all the post-game interviews. Jack's going to be walking around. I love when he shows up on the green and you see the guys like walking around. All of a sudden, it's like, whoa. And like they're like, you can tell when a legend is there. So I'm excited for this week.
So excited. Let's hope they don't do like a honorary tee shot with Jack to kick off the Memorial like they do Augusta, do they? Because his tee shot,
his last tee shot wasn't great.
It almost killed someone. So let's hope he's not doing that.
Maybe he'll do it because he wants a redo. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, he's been grinding on that for the last 2 months. Like, I got to redeem myself from that terrible drive.
I mean, would you put it past him? He's definitely mentally, like, even though he's 87 years old, he's totally that guy who would be right after that.
I guarantee he's been grinding about that, man. Guaranteed. There's no doubt about
it. You can't take the fight out of him. All right, we got last little thing. It's kind of funny. I know how big of a fan of the online invitational you are. RIP Beef. I am as well. I have talked about this since the beginning of this show together with you, how much I believe the future of golf is this parallel universe of the PGA Tour tournaments and this sort of online digital golf creator, YouTube sim, off-season tournaments and invites, and then what I thought last year was an incredible tournament, the online invitational. I know you love this. I just wanted to set you up here. Dave Portnoy has moved the purse to $4 million for that tournament.
Dave Portnoy. It's good to be Dave Portnoy.
Sometimes, but I just, that's a real number. That like brings out real guys, and so I would love to know
like
your
they
take.
Already, listen. I think last year's Internet Invitational was highly entertaining. Like, not embarrassed to say I consumed every minute of that content, and it was a lot of content. I think it was like 14 total hours of videos that there were episodes that they released, because the episodes usually were 2 hours long. You're going to continue. What I love about it is that you truly merge like the internet personalities that aren't the best golfers, but they've grown a following within the golf world, or even like outside of the golf world, right? Like I know they had someone from Mr. Beast production was in there last year. They had like one of the top gamers in the world last year. And then you get like the foreplay guys, which they aren't the best golfers, but they're certainly part of kind of the YouTube. Yeah, they're somewhat entertaining, right? Some unintentionally so, like Riggs in his golf swing. But you get the drama of the Barstool world, and then you get guys that aren't used to kind of that pressure cooker of like Dave Portnoy talking shit to them and Big Cat talking shit to them. You saw Luke Kwan last year completely fold under that pressure, miss his first tee time, and like was utterly shocked when Portnoy like eviscerated him and made him sit out for 6 holes. So I personally love the dynamic of, the YouTube golfers that are just, yes, they're entertainers, but like they're really good golfers, right? Grant Horvats of the world, the Bryan brothers, etc. And then you throw them into the melting pot that is the Barstool kind of internet drama, and it just makes for great content, right? And like the storylines that you had coming out of last year with the Molosi, was the slope on or was it off? Like I just think you're naturally, like you always do with Barstool, you naturally just get these really funny organic storylines. And with it being a $4 million pot, I think they're going to be able to be much more selective as far as who they invite, and they're going to make sure that they get the golfers that they want, but they're also going to make sure that they get the cast of characters that they want. Jason Williams, right, who works for Barstool now, White Chocolate is going to be at the Internet Invitational. Like you're going to get the Spittin' Chicklets guys, couple like handpick the good guys that are entertaining, and it's just going to be fantastic. And whoever ends up in that final round for $4 million, you're going to get some really high pressure like content shots where it's not PGA Tour pros that are hitting these shots under pressure for $4 million. It's guys that are like a 10 handicap or a 14 handicap. And what you saw last year was the pressure on 18. Frankie Butter Knives Borelli went over the green. Like you never see that in a PGA Tour event, right? Where a guy literally sculls a chip to lose $3 million. So like I can't wait for what we're going to see come out of that. And like Barstool, they produce great content, and like they've proven that they can do it on the golf front, and they're only going to build on the momentum that they created last year. And you're going to get King James tweeting about it and everyone else in the sports world. I can't wait.
I totally agree. I think that the only thing these events are missing is, and this is where the purse comes in, is that what you just mentioned, which is the seriousness. It's amazing and it's funny, and there's all kinds of stuff going on for entertainment purposes, but we'll turn this into something that perseveres over a long period of time and grows on it, is having a couple of guys who take it really seriously, because this is like really life-changing money for someone to come out and play. It's like, the pressure goes on, you do goofy stuff, but like, it could be, I don't know, I think it'd be funny.
And what's been cool too is that, so Brad Dahlke won last year with Francis Ellis, and then
now he's playing in a tournament.
And look at that, like he used the Internet Invitational as like a launching pad to professional golf again, right? Where he's got the sponsor exemption at the Rocket, he's got an exemption into the good tournament later this year, and it's like, hey, golf is a fickle game, right? Like that wasn't a professional tournament, but like you got real pressure reps, and now he's springboarding that into, hey, can I actually make it on the PGA Tour? Like I did it at the Internet Invitational for $3 million on the line. Maybe I can do it. Maybe I could do it at the Rocket.
I mean, there's guys like the PXG of players, Bryson DeChambeau, who do the opposite, and they use the PGA Tour to rocket themselves into the YouTube world, which is baffling. And I'm not even gonna touch that with a 10-foot pole today. I'm hoping that I'm going to make my own invitational debut this year. I'm hoping to make my way into the Internet Invitational next year.
Let's get some good tape out there. Let's get some good tape out there this summer, Scott, for you.
We're going to get it. I want a quick shout out. Thank you to Noel Duckworth, who's hosting the 312 Invitational in your backyard at Mount Prospect. And he's invited me to join one of 32 golf creators online to play in this Invitational. They're recording content for all of it. The entire inspiration is no doubt Barstool's Internet Invitational. But what I have heard from a handful of guys is this is not the only one. There's a bunch of guys who are doing the same thing in Austin area, and there's another SoCal one that's doing it. I think these guys are trying to make sort of feeder leagues where they can say, hey, we have 2 or 3 guys or a team here that should play in your internet, and it's a tryout. So in my mind, I'm going to take it seriously. I'm going to have a good time, probably, shotgun a handful of beers and then hit the ball 400 fucking yards and see what happens.
Question, are you riding carts, or is there a caddy needed for that day? Because your co-host might be willing to caddy for you. Okay.
I haven't read the doc. I'm going to ask him. I saw in a video carts, if there's caddy ability, I would definitely want you to come in and we would just do some goofy shit together because I think it'd be fun and switch shots.
All right, good.
I don't think they're taking it seriously.
I'm putting my name in the caddy hat, man. I will caddy for Big Kit, and we will win that invitational.
I don't go there to lose. I'm excited about it.
That course is in my backyard. I got some intel on that, my friend. So.
As we approach, it's July 18th is when the tournament is. As we approach, we'll do a handicapping of it. What do we think is going to happen? It'll be a whole time. We'll probably just have Noel on the show. We can prep up the entire tournament. He has no idea that we're out scouting the course before they play it. So it'll be fun. Joe, as always, this is great. Love talking golf with you. I'm excited to watch Memorial this week. And, let the text ride.
Let's go, baby. Enjoy it. Jack's Place. One of the best tournaments there is. See ya.
Don't give up on Ludwig. See you later.
Yeah, I'm probably going to have to bet him. You've got me. All right. See ya. Bye.
Short Ludwig.